What it do, my fellow tribians? Y'all see the description. Y'all know what's going on. FBI documents. You know what I mean? This right here, trying something different. You know what I mean? I normally don't do the green screen, but you know what I mean? At Tribe, we all about upgrading, trying different things. You know what I mean? We not scared to I always went by a motto, chances make champions. The talk of the net, along with other things, has been the Epstein to do with all the files and leaks about his associates, you know what I mean, and who all he hanged with and who all he dealt with. And out of all those names, the guy who always try to fly under the radar and move like he's still trapping, Jay-Z name came up. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't read like all the like documents and all of that, you know what I mean, or whatever. I like seen lines and then a lot of shit was redacted. You know what I mean? Whoever hit that like button. So, but if you know Jay-Z history, you know what I mean? Like you know Foxy Brown is a part of his history. Now, some of y'all was just born in 2005 and 2000 and shit. Y'all might not know all like that because his relationship, as far as artist, whatever, you know what I mean, he signed her. Um, they always said that she was like underage. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all for showing love. They always wondered her age back then. You know what I mean? And see when you want to be at the top, you know what I mean? It's a lot that comes with when you want to be at the top. You know what I mean? Look at my cousin, my nigga Monster, my cousin. What it do, cuz? You already know, but I love you like soul food on Sunday. Hey, what's up? But you already know, like, Foxy Brown has a history with Jay-Z. You know what I mean? 7713. What's up? How you doing? Jay-Z got a history with Foxy Brown. You know what I mean? Like, see, even if she was underage, Foxy Brown, she carried herself like an 18 and over person, 21 and over person. You know what I mean? Like you taking trips, you on an island. You know what I mean? And anybody who know about NY background history, a lot of women, you know what I mean? Like say for instance, like Chrissy Lampkin, Jim Jones, wife or whatever. They dealt with street dudes. A lot of NY chicks, they love street dudes. I mean, a lot of us even current now who went to school, who out of school, have known girls in our school who dated high schoolers like you. We in middle school, she fucking with niggas in high school who driving. You know what I mean? But as far as NY, like it's like every other city. You know what I mean? The young girls be attracted to the dudes who they feel getting money. You know what I mean? So that's everywhere. That's still going to this day. Right now, somewhere, some young girls, sixth, seventh grade, they boyfriends is in 11th, 12th grade. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And some people, parents be cool with it for real. You know what I mean? So, but if you know the music history, you know that Jay-Z and Foxy Brown do have a history. You know what I mean? Now, we ain't never seen no recording or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Foxy Brown, she even tried to deny allegations, you know what I mean, as far as say fate, as far as, maybe because she looking at it like he married or, you know what I mean, whoop de whoop, whatever. But she even somewhat denied it. But it's like, how old was you when you and him dropped that whack song? If anybody remembers from it was like "Ain't No Woman Like the One," and something going. I don't know. It was with him and Foxy Brown. The shit was whack as hell. I ain't gonna lie. I listen to Jay Z, but that song in particular was whack. Now, Reason Without album, it was fire. But yeah, when you at the top and you quote unquote want everybody to know you're a billionaire, you know what I mean? Your followers ain't the only one who hearing what you all these things you saying, you know what I mean, about all this paper you counting, you know what I mean? Y'all in here hit that like button. Um, we ain't the only ones hearing it. The FBI here every they all listening too. You saying you a billionaire and all of this, but it's stuff that comes with that though. When you a billionaire, you know what I mean? Even if some you did when you were 17, bro, and a chick was 13. I'm not saying he did. We just using for example. When you want to be at the top of the mountain at the pole, you want to be on the Empire State Building, looking down on everybody and acting like we peasants or something, whatever, and we not. It's stuff that comes with that, like that. Just no matter what you do, will eventually just hunt you. You feel me? So, um, at some point, this was gonna come. Not whether it was Foxy Brown or whether it was somebody else. You know what I mean? And everybody, if you remember when Solange went off on him in that elevator, you know what I mean? It was rumors them saying that because Dame Dash, uh, baby mama Rachel Roy and him supposedly allegedly had some smoke in the air, as far as not the bad smoke, if you know what I mean. But so Solange, you know what I mean? She gangster. You know what I mean? She turned the switch up on him in the elevator. You know what I mean? Slapped him all in the chin. You know what I mean? Whoop de whoop 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 or whatever. But like I said, when you want to be at the top, you wanted to be known, Forbes magazine and everybody and all of this, and you got all these different businesses, and you paid 200 and something million for a crib. Your wife, Queen Bee, or whatever you call her, I don't know, whatever she is. Um, at some point, they're gonna come for you and try you. If Harvey Weinstein and all these other people who papered up and they are part of these big companies, pair of all these different, you know what I mean, things who create movies and all of that, they came for them. I mean, bruh, you know what I mean? You can be oblivious if you want to, but nobody's untouchable but God. You know what I mean? And sometimes it don't matter how much paper you got, man. Money ain't everything. You know what I mean? Money is not gonna always bail you out of certain situations. It may prolong the situation, and we can see how long it prolonged the situation. Because look at R. Kelly. I know he ain't got nothing to do with this, but I'm just saying. You see how long all the shit he did would just prolong so much. He dropping feeling on your booty, TP3. He coming with I'm a flirt. He still smackdown. You feel me? Dropping hits. But at some point, you gotta pay the piper. You know what I mean? At some point. You know what I mean? So me, I'm not shocked. Like I told y'all, I'm 42. I'm from that era. I remember the ill Nana Foxy Brown. I remember them. You know what I mean? And if you go listen to Nas Ether, Nas talked about it in Ether. You know what I mean? Like real music heads, go lab Ether. Nas talked about it in Ether. You know what I mean? About when he was dissing Jigga, he mentioned Foxy Brown and Jay-Z. Just go back and lab it. You'll be like, dang, he really did too. He really went back. You know what I mean? He really did diss him. You know what I mean? Because see, when Jay was coming in the game, at the time, you know what I mean, before 96, like right before he dropped Reasonable Doubt, he already had a foresight on because Biggie laid it out for him as far as like where, okay, it's cool to have a bunch of niggas in a group or whatever, but you gotta have one female artist. And Foxy Brown was before Emil. Emil came after. And a lot of people don't even know that unless you listen to the Dynasty or certain albums or watch state prop movies. She was the light skinned chick with all the chicks on the stairs talking crazy. And then I think on part two, or it might have been one state property movie where she came in the end and shot Beans or somebody, but that's who Emil is. But Jay-Z came in the game in the era where like you kind of gotta have a female chick as your sidekick type shit. Because he seen what Big did with Lil Kim. You know what I mean? Jay-Z saw that. He saw like, damn, okay. You know what I mean? Lil Kim, he got her turned up. You know what I mean? He writing the music for her, telling her sex appeal, all this sales and all this stuff, different stuff, whatever. So he took Q on that. So when he, came in, he she from Brooklyn, he from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So I mean, you know what I mean? He probably seen a diamond in the rough in his mind, you know what I mean? And sometimes a dude can know a chick underage, but won't even say nothing and won't even ask a chick their age, you know what I mean? he can play like he don't know. You feel me? You know what I mean? But you got some form of ideal that she's young. You know what I mean? Because no matter how mature a chick try to act, if she young, she gonna do something that's real young. You feel me? You know what I mean? And you're gonna be like, damn, she had a young bitch moment or whatever. But he came in that era. You feel me? So at the time, his sidekick, Foxy Brown. You know what I mean? So they got a history. Now, all that shit, what they talking about him and Aaliyah and all that, I don't, she was of age at the time or whatever, but the Foxy Brown shit is a little suspect, you feel me? That's why I put in the title, allegations or whatever. But, um, yeah, man, if you from my era, this is nothing new. You know what I mean? There's nothing new. You know what I mean? Like I say, um, but Foxy is a street chick from Brooklyn, so she not gonna like air shit out because she has common sense to say to herself like, this nigga married, he got kids. I'm not finna write a tell-all book. You know what I mean? If she was real hard up, and then you never know, Jay probably still take care of her on the low. You know what I mean? When you got bread like that, you know what I mean? Because I remember at one time she was going through a surgery where she couldn't hear all type of shit going on, and you never know. Jay probably looked out because she basically is rock for life. Like she was the first female rock artist. I mean, he signed her. You know what I mean? So he probably still look out on the low to where you know what I mean. She feel like she don't gotta put nothing to sabotage him out there. You know what I mean? A lot of people who did what they did to Puff, they had the right to, but it also came with bitterness, and they had some had a right to be bitter. You feel me? Because you ain't getting your coins. You feel me? But if you jigger Jay-Z and you still taking care of somebody on the low, and they not airing it out that you doing it, and you've been doing it for years, you know what I mean? You think she gonna air him out or whatever and be like, yeah, I was 16, he was 20? Because a lot of people don't realize this. Jay-Z, bro, he came in the game like at 27, 28 years old, as far as like worldwide notoriety type shit, like where people, you know what I mean? Like, really he could go on tour like the old DVD backstage and shit that's on YouTube. If you go look up backstage with Redman, DMX, all them niggas and shit. But like I said, if you from my era, I'm 42. Jay older than me by damn 10 years. You feel me? 15 probably. He damn near 60. Um, this ain't shocking, dog. Like I say, the only difference is steady being like the Korean stuff is, and a lot of these other chicks and all of that shit. Foxy is a Brooklyn chick, and she street, so she ain't gonna air Jay out. Like she ain't gonna be like, I'm finna write a tell-all book. I'm finna air the truth out. I was manipulated and whoop de woo, whoop de woo, whoop de doo, all that shit. You know what I mean? So Foxy go keep it street. You know what I mean? Now I ain't gonna lie. Now if the FBI boys blow down, everybody know if you lie, you know the consequences to them boys if they come see you. You feel me? So I hope she prepared for that. But like I say, man, if you from my era and you go back and you know what I mean, you already know this ain't even shocking. You know what I mean? And we ain't saying he guilty or not. We just saying what's being said as far as it was always something in the air about damn how old was she back then? She was young. You feel me? But like I said, think of this too. A lot of us go to school with chicks who mess with older niggas. You know what I mean? They don't want the nigga who ain't driving. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like that. You know what I mean? They feel in their mind the older nigga got more to offer. You know what I mean? So a lot of chicks who street like dude street, they want a nigga who getting money and all of that. So they want to attach themselves to that shit. You know what I mean? And let's not forget that. But y'all already know, dog. Tribe Effect. I know I'm on the green screen and shit. Like I say, tap in with your boy, Tribe Gang TV. I just wanted to touch in on that shit because I see it's been FBI documents and his name was in the Epstein case and all that shit or whatever. And when you a billionaire, I'm gonna end it like this: when you a billionaire, right, and you brag about it, and other billionaires hear that shit too, and y'all don't got. Cause listen, only when we hear these stories about Man, how Jay-Z name came up in the Epstein case, or just how we hear Jay-Z name come up at skiing or resorting or whatever it is. See, billionaires don't got nothing in common but being billionaires. So when we hear, how in the fuck is Mark Cuban hanging out with Kodak Black or some shit? You know what I mean? Let's just act like Kodak a billionaire. You know what I mean? You in your mind, we can't fathom that shit, right? We like what they got in common, right? Guess what? They do got in common. That chili, that paper, that mucho, yeah, that money. They don't gotta know no other language. They just got that in common because in their mind, they really want to pick each other brain. You know what I mean? And see if you were smart or you just had smart people around you. I mean, you had to have smart people around you too, but you know what I mean? So when we see these odd weirdos hanging out like the Patriots owner hanging out with Jay-Z or some shit like that, and we be like, they don't got shit in common. Yes, they do. They're both quote unquote billionaires. So, you know what I mean? Keep that in mind. But you already know, Try Gang TV. You know what I mean? Go to my YouTube, check for updates, like, comment, subscribe. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do green screen a lot more often. You know what I mean? Mix it up. You know what I mean? Like I say, we got a lot in store for this year. You know what I mean? Stay tuned in. You know what I mean? Remember, mental health is important. You know what I mean? So, um, always try to give your mind peace. Find inner peace within yourself. You know what I mean? No one else. You know what I mean? So try Game TV, salute what it do. You know what I mean? First green screen work, tap in. We're gonna do more. Salute. We out.